ahead. The last line that I saw was 17.5. Seems pretty reasonable for Miami on the road. Of course, they had it all together against NC State. That was a game that I anticipated Miami winning big, but that big? No, I did not. I must admit, I took North Carolina State in the points. I seem to be hopping back and forth and guessing wrong on Miami's focus on these blowout type games, and I keep missing them back and forth. But I took NC State in the points. This is not a win to be taken lightly, even though NC State's not a really good football team. Good enough to beat Virginia, good enough to beat Georgia Tech. So on occasion, and I believe Duke as well.
Maybe. But I think they did. And they dropped like almost 60. It was like 56-40 whatever against Georgia Tech. Like they had like 700, almost 800 yards. They were doing things. They were doing numbers. And, we came out and hit them in the mouth. And that really took them out of the game right away. You get a stop and a score right off the top. You would love that to be a touchdown, not a field goal right away, on the first drive, but you'll take it. It's a quicker start than we had been having with, the offensive points on the first possession. And then you just go roll from there. It was very clear that, there are light years between these teams. And I know CJ Bailey really wanted to come and put on a show in his homecoming return. And I know that he said all the right things in his media availability early in the week. This kid, when he came on the field for warmups, right? So not the early outs in the t-shirts and, in their sweatsuits, but like when they put the pads on and they come out for pregame warmups as a full team, he was jumping around like a kid on speed, bro. I mean, he's dapping everybody up. You see him pointing to his section because his whole family is there on their sideline. He's, pumping his his hands and everything. He's screaming at everybody. He's dapping everybody up super hard and whatnot. He said the right thing on, I'm not trying to prove anything to Miami. I got nothing to prove to them. It's just about me and my team and da-da-da. And then we smacked him in the mouth a lot. And it went very poorly for him. 17 for 30 for 120 yards. 4 yards of completion, 13.6 QBR with 2 interceptions, including 1 return for a tud and 2 more that were close and dropped, unfortunately. Yeah, this was a clinic, an absolute clinic ass whipping by Miami's defense. Up front, we rotated guys. They couldn't block us. They couldn't do anything. If you scroll down a little bit, right there. The leading rusher in the ACC coming into this game was Hollywood Smothers. The leading rusher in conference. Mark, you and I, in our respective locations, ran for more yards than Hollywood Smothers did in this game. It was a clinic. Like, they dropped a couple of balls. Zach Poyser made a nice play to close down an open receiver. He got going a half step the wrong way towards the middle of the field, flipped his hips, and then got downhill to go break that up at the point of the catch, which was really great. But this was, in all phases, just an ass-kicking of epic proportions. Miami ran the ball well. Shout out to Gerard Pringle in his first college start, 148, I believe, or something like that. Total yards, 116 on the ground and another 32 on 2 catches. Almost scored a couple of times on a couple of those plays. The running game just looked different with him in there. He just plays at a higher speed, a faster tempo. And, Shannon Dawson said it on Monday, and I agree. We went to this outside zone-based scheme. It's like a Shanahan Broncos offense, like Daddy Shanahan, you know what I mean, kind of thing. And that outside zone series with Gerard Pringle just popped, bro. And it popped even where they fit it wrong, and he bounced it outside because he has higher, gear than everybody else. It was a joy to see. And shout out to Mario Cristobal, who in his Monday presser said it would have been unprofessional for them as a staff to see what Pringle did the last week and not give him a starting opportunity this week. I mean, the kid was scout team MVP 2 weeks ago, him and Dalen Upshaw, and also game MVP for their position groups. You know what I mean? So he was like, dude, we say if you show us in practice and then if you get the opportunity, you show and prove, then you will earn. It would have been unprofessional for us to put him on the bench. So we live our raps. We say show it and prove it, and you get the opportunity again, bang, you see it. So that was really, really great to see. Malachi Tony just continues to be Mr. Everything for this team. 5 catches for 54 and 2 tuds. Also had a 44 the completion to JoJo Trader this week. That was from Malachi Tony, who actually it was a post wheel concept on a trick play. The post was the actual first read, but NC State had that covered up. They were playing trail technique, and the safety was going over the top, which opened up the wheel route and to get dotted up with and everything. And yeah, it was really, really great. The only downfall, there were 2. Well, the only 2 bad plays, really. Malachi Tony had Gerard Pringle wide open on a wildcat kind of play on a HB leak to the flat, and he overthrew it. He was just he had adrenaline. Boom, he sailed that. And then Luke Nickel, when he came in and we were feeding Nye Carr on the final drive of the game, his first play, Luke Nickel, we called a sluggo, a slant and go for Nye Carr, and he was open by 15 yards. And Luke threw it late and about 20 yards too short, which was unfortunate because that should have been a walk-in touchdown for Nye Carr. But it is what it is. But yeah, I said that this was going to be, last week or 2 weeks ago against Syracuse, I equated that to the Stanford game because those are 2 of the worst teams in captivity. It was that. I was expecting Miami, to win and barely cover. But when I saw the futility of the offense early, I was like, oh, this is boat race central. This is real bad. And that was before even the Jacoby Thomas pick 6. So, we did everything that we needed to do to get the win and move on. There's one thing before we get to our esteemed guest, my good friend, Michael McDaniel, that I want to talk about, and that is the path for Miami to get to the ACC championship game, because Truth Over Falsehood did come in here and ask. I don't know if you're still in the comments saying more down low. I'm just looking at the first comment because I didn't scroll down, but I will throw this up here. And Paulo, I saw yours. I'm going to get to yours also really quick. I know Mike is listening, but we're going to get there. So I'm going to go here. What are the scenarios for Miami to make the ACC championship game? There's lots of different things. I did the math. I wrote it already this week. We're going to check it out really quickly. It's up on stateoftheu.com, a wonderful website. So there are 3 scenarios really, but there's also a scenario where we can get eliminated. So the elimination scenario is Georgia Tech beats Pitt and Virginia even on a bye if Duke loses and SMU loses. So if you get those 3 results, because the second line is the same, losses by Duke, Pittsburgh, and SMU, that locks in Georgia Tech, Virginia in the ACC championship game, regardless of anything else that happens in week 14. So that's the bad side of things. That is true, confirmed, verified. For Miami, scroll past that, boom. It comes down to this. Miami has to win out. Duke beats Carolina, Pitt beats Georgia Tech, Louisville beats SMU, and then next week, SMU over Cal, Wake over Duke, boom, you win tiebreakers. And again, this is up on stateoftheu.com. If you haven't seen it, please go check it out. Other one, same kind of a thing. This week, Duke beats Carolina, Pitt beats Georgia Tech, SMU beats Louisville. Next week, Cal beats SMU and Wake beats Duke. Boom, you get that. The long shot is some other stuff. Boom, whatever. I'm going to scroll down to this for what we need from each team. This right here. Georgia Tech has to lose to Pitt. Full stop, end of the story. Georgia Tech beats Pitt. There is no path for Miami. There's no combination of other results for Miami to make the ACC championship game because of tiebreakers and everything else. So you are the biggest Pittsburgh fans ever of life this week. They must beat Georgia Tech and then some of the other stuff. But that is the one immutable truth. They have to beat Georgia Tech.